Okay. So we will start. I'm Sophie Scarvellis. I'm the head of the project unit at the Interreg Euro-MED Joint Secretariat. Welcome to this seminar dedicated to the reporting on key deliverables and outputs. This seminar is recorded. Please touch your microphones, please. Okay. So this seminar, is dedicated to the reporting on key deliverables and outputs on the full reporting, and on the full reporting process, because now we are in the process of the project of the call to of the full reporting that you have to submit by the end of March. It's a complementary seminar to the one that we had on the 9th of September on the partial reporting, where all the details of the general reporting, the financial reporting were discussed and presented. And of course, you can find all this information on our website, where this seminar was recorded, and you have also the detailed PowerPoint presentation. For this reason, in this seminar today, we are going to focus on the sections of the reporting that are for the full reporting only, meaning the deliverables and outputs, the target groups, the indicators, but we will also focus on some tips for a successful reporting based on the experience we had from the last reporting period, meaning the partial reporting, and we will also give some information on how to report on investments, because this will come in the future while you will implement your projects, and specifically the test project with investments. And we will finish with tools and information. After each of those sections, topics, we will have a Q&A session. We have also, as you have when you registered to this seminar, we asked if you had some questions already. So we have already recorded these questions, and we will answer to them if, of course, they are not already answered in our slides. If you have questions, please ask for the floor with your hand, or you can write your question in the chat. Please, when you have a question, try to ask the questions depending on the topic. So deliverables and outputs, or target groups and indicators, which will be treated together for the questions, or investments, or tips for successful reporting in general. And then we will have also a Q&A session for general questions that are not linked to these topics. Each of my colleagues here will present some parts of this agenda. So we will start now with Isabelle Nobio on the reporting on key deliverables and outputs.
So good morning, everybody. Thank you for being so numerous. So I will present you the procedure, the whole process on reporting on key deliverable and output. Before entering into the practical details, just a few slides to present the global picture in which this process is embedded, and to remember that the overall objective of deliverable and outputs of project production in general, from our point of view, is to increase the visibility of the project and facilitate the access, exploitation, and reuse of the results. To do so, we have different set of objective, of sub-objective. The first one is, of course, to ensure the compliance of the deliverable and outputs with the European Commission and program rules on GEMS, which is the first space dedicated to a deliverable and output. The idea is also to let the project the freedom to promote their own results on their own space, that is to say their website, at their own pace. And then there is a third kind of space and of objective, which is the legacy of the program through the project's results, as there will be all published, the outputs and some deliverable of special interest in one single location to increase the visibility. That is to say, the Euro-MED Programme library that will be integrated in the Euro-MED Academy platform. Here you have a little design that show you that in this platform, that will be the unique one, we will have a training part and a library part. So this is a process that is governed by different main principles that are highlighted here. First of all, key deliverables and outputs are reported annually during the full reporting period, starting from now. For you, it's end of March 2025 for Call 1 and Call 2 and 3 projects, which means that the publication on Basecamp beforehand, before uploading it in GEMS, is not mandatory anymore. We will modify the program manual on that point, among other, but it's still a good practice. But the official process, in any case, starts on GEMS, and will show you the process in detail then. Also, another important element is that outputs are meant to have an added value regarding the state of the art by nature and a transfer potential, and that some key deliverables can have the same characteristic. When we talk about outputs and key deliverables, outputs are the solutions, that is to say methodology, tools, technology, services, process, partnership, cooperation agreement, and the strategy and action plans that are jointly developed. This is what we meant by outputs. We don't embed in that process the output linked to the participant to the project. And what we call key deliverable are the deliverable that have been selected with you and written in the application form during the pre-contracting phase. Those outputs and some deliverable have their quality ensured by a peer review process that is led by the governance project of each missions for their community of projects. Indeed, as part of their duties and to prepare the transfer of the thematic project results, each TCP has foreseen a peer review, an evaluation of the project results, the project main production, let's say. Those peer reviews are carried out independently from the formal process of reporting and GEMS and in principle before, but how it is really a good opportunity to ensure the quality of program results and to ensure a good legacy. The outcome of those peer reviews are now embedded in the GS process, meaning that all the outputs and some key deliverable of interest that will be published in the program library will have been peer reviewed first. So this is here in a nutshell the process that goes from GEMS to the library, but for not all the deliverable, but for all the output for sure. As you see, it's a 4-step process that we will detail here. The first part corresponds to the formal part. That is to say, the upload of the output and the deliverable in GEMS by the lead partner. And you will see that in this first step, as partner, you will have to enter a series of information, a series of metadata that would surround the production. There is a second, the second step is to verify, it's the verification by the GS of those key deliverable and outputs compliance with the requirements of the Commission, for instance, in terms of communication, and the requirements of a program manual, especially in terms of quality, formal quality, and potential of transfer. Then another part is linked to the peer review of the thematic of the TCP, thematic community project of each mission, and is to ensure that it has been carried out and that it enables us to prepare the publication of the key deliverable and the outputs into the library. And the last step, the fourth one and final one, when those are completed, is the publication or not of the outputs and some key deliverables of special interest in the Academy website, that is to say, in the program library. Approximately, we expect to publish around 400 and 450 outputs on the library, which is already quite a lot. So the first step, it all starts with GEMS, because this is our audit trail. So in this first part, that is led by the partner once a year at full reporting stage in the project report, the work plan update part, is the responsibility of the partner to upload its deliverable or its output in the right part, and to fill in some metadata that are additional to the information that are directly retrieved from GEMS, such as the project title, the name of the mission, the website, the title of the outputs, the description, and the realized value. We will ask you also to indicate in the plugin that has been developed in addition to GEMS, and that will be presented afterwards, the type of deliverable or output, the language, some keywords that are limited to 5, keep keywords, and also program-specific keywords, the target audience, the year of realization, and the geographical scale. You will see that in the plugin you have automatic list with multi-choice, and this section is common to all, to the lead partner and to the GS. The second step. Here you have a screenshot of the plugin in GEMS, but so you have an idea of how it looks like. That should be filled by you, but there will be a short demonstration afterwards. Here you have all the metadata that you will have to enter in. And if you go in GEMS, in the work, in the project report, in the work plan update, you will see that for deliverable and output, you have specific section where you can upload your support. There are indications about the kind of support. It depends, of course, on the kind of deliverable you are producing. But for that, you can refer to the program manual. The second step, it's on our side, it's on the GS side. And these steps consist in verifying the compliance of the deliverable and the outputs in GEMS. So we check out the compliance with the European Commission rules and the minimum content requirements as stated in the program manual. This is the Annex G, the requirements for data collection, production delivery, and activity reporting. We have some basic quality criteria that should be fulfilled in. And we also make a check on the quality contents based on the manual criteria. That is to say, to be more precise, the production presents a common method. The comparison of data is possible and relevant. The data sources is available, and it presents a potential of transferability. If during this step we notice that there is a problem with the logo, with the color, with the with the minimum quality content requirement, we will ask you to modify through the Q&A and by opening so that you can re-upload the new production, deliverable or outputs into the system. Once the compliance is approved, is checked and approved, the report can be approved also. Of course, provided that all the other elements, financial and administrative, are fulfilled. But that won't block peer review or not, publication or not. Be aware that this process is thought to avoid blocking the payment. As long as we have the deliverable, the output, and that it complies with a rule, our basic rules, we can accept the report and we can pay you. However, as said before, some outputs or deliverable of special interest have vocation to be published into the program library based on the outcomes of the peer review led by the governance project. Because this is basically a process that embedded different dimensions and different steps with the final objective of having visibility and promoting the quality of our results also over the lifetime of the project, of course, but over the lifetime of the program also. So practically, for this part, we fill in the plugin and it is only visible for us. Here you have the screenshot of the plugin. This is her part, you won't see it, but for the sake of transparency, we will publish the Excel grid that was the base of the informatic plugin on the Basecamp of your mission, so that you know exactly how it works, what is expected. You will also have the definitions, for instance. Maybe it's also in the program manual, but you will have all in one Excel file that will be published in your Basecamp. Step 3. Then here we close the GEMS part, and we can go maybe for the outputs and some deliverable of special interest to the preparation of the publication into the program library. On the base of step 1 and 2 analysis, the plugin is sent within 2 months together with the deliverable and or the output together with the support by the GS to the Academy editorial committee that is in charge of the library, of the management of the library content. Into the Academy, we have, that is ongoing. We have different committees, but basically we have committees that are dealing with the training part of the Academy and one committee that is dealing with the library and content part. Also because it's a place where the different missions can share information about results and see also the synergies. So practically this step is done offline, otherwise we would need to grant access in GEMS to too many people. So this is done offline, and this we send the supporting material to the editorial committee. The editorial committee of the Academy is composed of representatives of the different governance project mission and the GS. And this editorial committee will ensure that a peer review has been carried out at the mission level, at each mission level, which is, as I said before, independent from her process. And the editorial committee will verify the overall consistency of the different peer review on the base of a common template document. This template document is a summary of the different peer review based on a set of 3 common basic criteria, which means that those peer review can be more extended, but what we want is to have 3 criteria in common that reflect, which are not new actually, which are the one of the program manual and the one that were explained in the application in the terms of reference. So those criteria should be respected, should be fulfilled to validate the peer review and to publish the to publish the production, the outputs, or some deliverable into the library. When it's done, this template document that I will show you in the next slide, this template document is sent back by the editorial committee to the Joint Secretariat that will, here you have this plot of the peer review that will be consolidated, sorry, by the GS. We basically take the information of the peer review and the information that would prepare the publication of the output and the document on the library, that is to say the context on the library. We will enter them into the system manually directly. And when so you see here the context is what is the problem solved, the context that goes around the publication, so that it's not just an output like this on a web page. You have all the explanation, just as it was in the intercommunity toolbox. This explanation are the following: what is the problem solved by the output of the deliverable and its added value? What is the transfer potential and how to use it? And also, what is the contribution to the SDGs, which is also something additional, and the contribution to the main policies. So when use is fulfilled, this is also here, the peer review template document. So this document is common to all the mission, and it's a checklist actually of the outcome of the peer reviews, of the different peer reviews. And here you have the criteria assessment that reflect actually the context phrases, sentence actually reflect the criteria assessment. So this is basically the relevance to address the issue, the relevance of the production to assess the issue tackled, the added value respect to the state of the art. As you see, it's nothing new respect what we expect from the production. And the overall formal quality, this is called. And this should arrive to a conclusion that it can be all can be free. Can we go to the next slide? The peer review conclusion can be three type of conclusion. It is recommended for publication. Then once we have put all the information into the system, we proceed to the upload of the deliverable and all the output into the library. We greenlight the publication. It goes directly to the library and we inform the lead partner. If the peer review conclusion is that the publication shall be on hold, that is to say that the output of the deliverable needs minor adjustment, mainly from the formal part point of view. We will come back to you and check if we can improve those aspects so that the revised deliverable can be uploaded and into the project report and published. Or the third possibility, but it's almost, I would say, a more theoretical possibility. It's not recommended for publication, that the output or the deliverable needs major changes. And in that case, we won't publish the output or the deliverable, and we will, of course, inform you. Once again, that does not mean that you're not going to get paid, and that does not mean that you cannot publish it yourself on your website. On the contrary, the idea is really to concentrate on a place, which is the academy, quality, and relevance of our production. Because we made actually a survey on the previous library, and it was not so much used because there were too many too many support, you get lost, and in the end, that didn't work. So this time we wanted to take advantage of the program architecture with the governance project, the quality that will come out of the project production to promote it in our library. So practically this section is only displayed for the GS. You won't see it, you will be only informed. But once again, as the Excel file that was used to create the plugin will be published, you can see the criteria, you will see everything. The tools will be published, so it's pretty much transparent as a process. So here you have the last screenshot before Florian is going to make a demo. Okay. With the publication on it.
Thank you, Isabelle. Good morning, everybody. I will share my screen to show you briefly how it works in GEMS. Okay. So I will show you both of the parts of the module. I will show you what you are going to see in your project report and our side of the plugin. So I have chosen one project in this project report, and we will see in this full report in the work plan progress, as you have seen in the screenshot. You will find for each work package the activities and the output. As you can see, for the output, you can go directly to the checklist of the output. For the deliverable, you have to choose the activities, and after you can choose the deliverable that you have to update. So I will go to an output. You will go directly in the plugin to fill the different information that you have to fill. So as you can see, you already have the title and the description. This is taken from GEMS directly, but as it will be used in the library, you might maybe update it to be more later or more communicant. So you will find that after all the different fields that you have seen, with the type of the output, the language, the keywords from KEEP, keywords for the program. As Isabella said, you have to choose maximum 5 keywords in this list. The target audience, the year of realization, geographic scale, and the partner that is responsible for the output. This is all that you will see. I see the next field because I am logged as a program user, but you will see only this field, and you can save each time you made an update. Once this is done, we can go to this checklist by checking your project report, but we also have a direct entry in our program section, and we can choose a project. And for the project, we have the list of all the deliverables and output. And if I go to the same output, I will have exactly the same information. And we will be able to fill the different information that you have seen. Just to point, just something that I have to show you. We have updated the free question to stick to the templates. And so the screenshot were not updated, but this is exactly the same thing as a template. And when we are finished, we only saved, and if it's okay, it will go to the library directly and automatically. That's all for me.
Thank you, Florian. And then, as what it was said by Isabel already, of course, this is the way to publish the main outputs and deliverables on the program library, but of course, you can publish all your productions freely on your project website. And now my colleagues from the communication unit, Olga, yeah, will present how to do that.
Good morning. Yes, as previously said, you can upload your deliverables on your website, and you have a dedicated page on the project website. This page is the what we achieved page. On the mission website, this page is called Our Results. These are the pages we dedicated to the publication of the deliverables. And here you can publish the document, the deliverables you want to give visibility. So it's up to you which documents and deliverables to publish. Can you please take the next slide? About how to publish, you are also free to choose the best way for your deliverables. We remind you that you have to respect to use the DB template. Actually, our websites are built with WordPress, so we have limited features, but at the same time, you have room for find the best solution to publish your deliverables. You can add link, you can add description, title, even pictures. So you can choose how to publish them. Here you can find, we will share the publication, then you have access to these the example pages and this link. Because some projects already start to publish their deliverables, so you can find these as examples. And if you need some help, technical support to build your page, remember to ask us. The communication unit is available to help you.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you. So it was a lot of information on the reporting on deliverables and outputs, because it's a new feature we have just developed in GEMS, and we are developing with the academy. So all this is quite a lot of information, but you will see in the reporting, in the progress report, that it's quite very easy to fill in, let's say, and to attach your deliverables. So let's have some time now for questions about reporting on deliverables and outputs. And outputs, not the indicators, but the outputs like as a production. We had already some questions in the registration forms. So one of the questions was if the outputs are expected to by the end of the project. So if we need to specify the progress made during this reporting, this is also linked to the indicators, of course, but as an output, of course, in general, in your work, in the progress report, you have space to explain the progress of each work package and each activity. So in this space, you can, of course, and you need to specify the progress made towards the outputs that will come at the end of the project. Then there was a question regarding some recommendations. If we had some recommendations for uploading documents for the partner reports. and the use of Basecamp by national controllers. First of all, there is no obligation from the JS on the partner reports, because the partner reports are used for the lead partners to have information on what has been done by the partners, and for the national controllers to verify the activities and the link to the expenditure you are asking for certification. You ask for the certification. So there is no obligation and recommendation on our part on that, because you have to upload the documents as the national controllers ask for, except for the ones that we ask you to upload, and this is clearly stated in the manual, in the guide for the reporting. And then the audit trail is only on GEMS. So if there is a use of Basecamp for anything, please be aware that this can be maybe for the storage of some documents, etc., but it's not part of the audit trail. Everything that is linked to the audit trail should be on GEMS or directly with the national controllers. And then, of course, there is this question on the Basecamp and the folders with the different colors to for the validation of the deliverables and outputs. This was set before we developed the plugin in GEMS. So this is something we will change on in the manual also and in Basecamp. So as this was said by Isabel before, but just to be clear, you can use Basecamp for an exchange before the official reporting with your project officer. This is to be discussed with them, for example, to pre-check the deliverable or the output, but it's not where we will validate officially the documents. But you can, in any case, even before we validate during the full reporting the documents, the productions, you are free to publish them beforehand on your website. So this is independent. For this reason, it can be a good practice to check beforehand with your project officers if everything is okay, so that you can publish it and it's ready, and then you will report it. So do we have other questions, Guillaume, on this topic? Okay, I think I answered to that. Yeah, so it can be seen with your project officer beforehand, but in any case, you will have to report it now in the full report. Okay, we don't have other questions. Nobody asked for the floor. No. Okay, so it seems that everything is clear. Nice. Of course, you will have the possibility to come back to this presentation. Everything will be, as usual, uploaded on our website, so you can come back to that. And you will see now when you enter the project report, it's quite easy to the examples. Yes. Thank you. So let's go to the second topic, which is target groups and indicators. And I give the floor to Pascal now for this part.
Thank you, Sophie. So for the target groups, it won't be long. Here you see how it looks like in GEMS. It is in the section report identification. This is where you will have to provide all information. The target groups, the type of target groups are automatically retrieved from the application form, so nothing to do. And then in the description, you can provide any information relevant. Remember, it's only during the full reporting, so it's once a year. You must encompass the 2 last periods, of course, the whole year. And it is only qualitative description, and you don't have any figures to provide. So that is an easy thing to do. Going to the indicators. Okay, so I'll focus and also a small reminder of the context. Here you see the intervention logic of the program and the projects. You see that your outputs and results are linked to our indicators, output indicators and result indicators. And to continue with the context, here on this slide, you see the names of the outputs that are the strategies and action plans, solutions, and organizations. And for the results, these strategies and action plans are taken up, the solutions also are taken up, and the organizations have increased their institutional capacity. So as we said, you have to report it. There are two ways to report it. Once a year in the full report, which is the one highlighted in orange, that is interesting us today. And also you will have to report into more details at the project closure, but we will provide you information at the time being. So once a year in the full report, you only have to provide a summary of the progress regarding the outputs, and you don't have any figures to provide. I will show you how it looks like in GEMS on the next slide. For the outputs, it is in the section work plan progress. When you fill in the description of your work plan, at the bottom you have this section. So remember, you don't have to provide any figures, only the description of the progress achieved, and if relevant, but for now I'm not sure you don't have anything to attach, you can also attach some information related to the outputs. And for the results, it looks like the same, but it is in the section project results and horizontal principle. Still no figures to provide, and also here the description to fill in. Yes, I think that's it for the indicators.
So let's go for questions. We didn't receive any beforehand on this topic, so if you have some questions, please ask them now. Knowing that for the results, of course, it's really at the end, because we measure the results at the end of the project, for sure. No question, yeah, because it's quite easy. Let's say, okay, let's go to the next topic then. The reporting on investments, which is something that you have not yet seen at all, because only test projects have investments, and those are not yet, as the project has started less than 1 year, not less, 1 year before, we haven't started these activities, or at least not the reporting on this, but the idea is to be ready to report them once you will need to. So for this part, we have Judith and Georgia on this topic. Please, colleagues.
Est-ce que j'ouvre mon micro? No. Très bien. So, hi everyone, so I'm Judith Casas, project officer, and alongside Jean-Pierre Comté, we will present you the question of investment. So we're going to start with a few reminders about investment. So investment are about test project, and test project only, not study, not transfer. Investment are qualified as part of pilot activity, limited budget and scale. Investments can be related to 3 different types of cost categories: external expertise and services, equipment, and infrastructure and works. And so there are some very specific requirements you must comply with, and that we're going to see today. So to begin with, we're going to start with, so the very beginning is the application form. Because to be eligible, the expenditure related to the investment must appear in the consolidated version of the application form. So that means the latest version validated in GEMS. So you find it in the work plan and in the dedicated work plan. So you can see in a screenshot in the upper right part of the slide. So you've got on the left column the reference of the investment, in the middle the name, and on the right the location of the investment. So it's important that in this description it really corresponds, match the latest version of your investment, your pilot as you have designed it. In the budget, this must also appear. That is very important as well, to make sure the expenditure are eligible. So that you will see in the dedicated individual budget of each partner. So you can see also a screenshot on the back of the slide. So basically it's in the third column, so either in external expertise, equipment, or infrastructure and work, that the investment is linked to it. Another thing that should already been done and be available either in GEMS or for you is that some documentation, some that correspond to some requirements, new requirements that you're complying to. So 3 documents that are already available because of the work you've done during the pre-contracting phase. So the first one is that each partner has signed, each partner involved in an investment, of course, has signed a statement of capacity and compliance with the principle of investment. So this document is very important because basically you stated in this document, that you signed, to comply with all the requirements of the program and all the regulation. So it's already in GEMS, in the annexes of the application form and in each investment documentation. When required by the GS at the time of the pre-contracting phase, you may have done DNSH, do not significantly self-check. So you can see it's the tab at the bottom in green and blue. Not everybody may have done it. It's not the latest. I don't know. Okay. So it's been done. It's actually integrated in the pre-contracting grid. If you remember well, it's in possession of the lead partner, and you may have it all as well as partner. And we will kindly ask you to also upload it in the investment documentation annex of the application form. Another work you have done during the pre-contracting phase for some of you is the state aid relevancy assessment, in case we had doubt. So this document, this assessment was done, and a document sum up the conclusion stating if you were state aid relevant or not, direct state aid, indirect. This document should as well be uploaded in the annexes of the application form.
Sorry, but I think I will share again the presentation, just to be sure that we have the last version.
You can start putting your question on this first slide in the. Shall we take it now?
Yeah.
Okay, Christina, please. You can open your.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Christina Kanellaki from Limassol, Cyprus. I wanted to ask regarding the depreciation of equipment, how we are going to declare it in the report. We have to put the depreciation all the full amount.
Oh.
For
Okay.
example, if we buy, yes.
I think we got the two things. What we were talking about with depreciation means we're not talking about investments, because one of the interests of investment, equipment and infrastructure linked to is investment, is to get the eligibility of the full amount no matter the duration of the equipment or the infrastructure. But you may also have equipment not linked to an investment that's for which you will have to declare to make depreciation rule indeed. So when you will declare, for instance, the easy example is probably a computer, laptop, you will declare the depreciated amount for the period. So basically, in the total invoice value, you will put the full price of the computer, no? And in the declared amount, the depreciated amount.
Okay. Can I ask you something else regarding the services? Services are investment.
Services can be linked to investments. For instance, feasibility study of your pilot, investing pilot, can be linked to an investment. If they are not, it's not such a big deal because there's no really issue about the depreciation rule as we just mentioned before.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you
that's-
very much.
You're welcome. Shall we keep on and take the
Yes.
other question afterwards? Okay. Okay, so I think we went through this slide already. So 3 documents already done, and that should all be in the annexes of the application form. So now that we've done kind of the state of the art, we're going to see how to report on investments. So first the expenditure, second the audit trail and required documentation that are very specific to investment. And third, we also remind you some of the obligation that concern the end of the project or even after life of the project, but that should probably be taken care of today. So not much to know about reporting expenditure linked to investment in GEMS. One or two things. Just like in the application form, you have to relate the expenditure to the investment that is concerned. So you can see here a screenshot. You will put the right cost category, so one of the 3, external expertise, equipment, or infrastructure. And in the investment number, please tick the right one. If not, you may contact your national controller. It is allowed now to reopen your control report so you can really attach your expenditure to the proper investment. Second thing, I put it there because it may happen often in investments. You may want to relate it to the contract that is relating to this exact expenditure. Okay, now you're going to see some other documentation that are required, especially this one for infrastructure and infrastructure with a lifespan over 5 years. So one study is required and it's concerned the impact of climate change on the investments. The guideline have been sent to you by the LP, has been sent, to the LP by the project officer. I would like to highlight or remind you that it's different from the DNSH, which concern the impact of your investment on the environment and the climate. And this one is the other way around. How your investment integrates climate change and kind of forecast adaptation to this climate change. Ideally, it should be made during the feasibility study so that your investment can integrate the conclusion. And it should be available at the latest when submitting the first expenditure related to the investment. So this document is mandatory, a condition for eligibility, and it should be also be stored on GEMS in the application form, application annex, investment documentation. Some other required documentation. So once again, it's not for all. One about ownership. So some investments are made by some partners, but on the territory or on a place, a land owned by another entity. So typically some agencies that are working with some local authorities investing on their territory. So for this specific project cases, there should be an agreement between the partner in charge of the investment and the owner of the land zone. So this document as well must be uploaded in the annexes of the application form and in the investment documentation. Last but not least, bring the previous slide. No problem. So there's some other document that can, of course, justify the compliance with all regulation from EU to local in terms of environmental impacts, required permits, even public hearing. So this should be provided to the NC, the national controller, and it's really up to you and them to have this discussion and see how they want these documents to be provided, but they should be available. So to sum up, all the documentation and where they should be stored, basically most of them will have to be in the application form, in the annexes, and in the dedicated investment file. So we've got the statement of capacity and compliance. You've already signed it during the application form, it's already there. The assessment of expected impact of climate change, which for the infrastructure with a lifespan over 5 years. So you've got the guideline for them, and you should be doing it probably now. Third, the agreement between the partner in charge of the investment and the owner if they're different. And the two assessments that have been done during the pre-contracting but are not there yet. So the DNS check, if it was relevant at the time, and the state aid assessment conclusion as well, if it was done and asked for at the time. And the last document, as we mentioned, all the documents relating to the compliance with the regulation that should be made available for the national controller, and which location has to be agreed with it. So because we are on full reporting, you're also going to have a narrative about your investment. So as we said before, even if all the work is not finished, for instance, your solar panel, I don't know, are not already in the building, you've probably gone through a few steps. So please, in the work plan progress, write about it and about the progress you've made. As for the compliance with the DNSH, you can also put references to it in the horizontal principle part and in the first horizontal principle, which is sustainable development.
Okay, thank you. But a quick reminder from communication, because in case of infrastructures and equipment, there are communication action to be put in place for infrastructure. Billboards or plaque has to be displayed on the operation site, and as soon as the implementation of the physical implementation of the purchase of the equipment starts, and for the equipment, a sticker with the project logo. The minimum requirement for in terms of branding is the project logo. but we strongly recommend to send a mock-up of this material to the communication unit in order to be validated by the JS. So we are sure that everything is okay. And if you have any question on where to put this billboard or which kind of information add, we will soon provide some guidelines on our website to comply with this obligation.
Thank you. So yeah, as I said, it's also time to think about the after life of the project. So some reminder about the program rules on the durability. So all investments that are financed as part of the project are considered as key production and therefore must be operational and maintained. Be ready for 5 years from the 31st of December of the year of the last program payment to the partner concerned, or at least until the end of the investment lifespan. So if the last payment of the project is in January 2027, you will have to count 5 years from the 31st of December of this same year. So that's sometimes which for you have to think about the maintenance, the operation of the project. So please refer to the program manual and the dedicated part. So it's part H, closing my project. You've got the reference in the blue bubble. So some important requirements as well, and that are particularly of interest for those of you who are not the owner of the location of the investment. So we've got 2 cases or 3 cases, let's say. The first one is for productive investment and investment in infrastructure. So within 5 years to the final payment to the project partner, it must not make, it is forbidden to have a cessation of transfer of a productive activity outside the location, not to level, in which it received the support. Make a change of ownership of an item of infrastructure which gives to a firm or public body an undue advantage, and see a substantial change affecting the investment's nature, objective, or implementation condition, which would result in undermining its original objectives. A positive way of saying it means also that if you respect these 3 conditions, the change of property and the cessation is possible. So that's for productive investment and investment in infrastructure. Another case is the one of the fixed investments in equipment. And for the moment, any change of property by the partner is not possible within this 5 years. So this rule could change. As you can see, we stated it in yellow. We're studying it, and probably by the summer, the same rules as the one for the productive investment and investment in infrastructure should apply. And that's it for the investment.
So thank you very much. I think that this is a session, a topic that is very much interesting for the partners. We see a lot of questions. Let's start from the first one we had reported. Yeah, the one is, what if the investment has not been declared in the application form, or if you need to change the investment in the application form. In that case, please be aware that you cannot report the expenditure, and we cannot certify the expenditure if this has not been stated in the application form, meaning that you will need to ask for a modification using our online dedicated form for the request for modification of an approved project. and then report the expenditures in the next report. So try to anticipate, of course, the needs of changing any adding or modifying the investment or
Stai usando la stampante rara.
cut off your
Yeah.
microphone, please. So please try to anticipate any need for modification of the application beforehand. It's better. Otherwise, will have to wait for the next report to certify this expenditure. And then I leave my colleague Georgia for the questions you have asked in the chat.
Yeah.
But there is, first of all, one hand, so please, I don't know who is.
I think it's Alberto Cozzi.
Alberto Cozzi, please.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for this very clear introduction, description of all the activities. I have one question on the investment and specifically about this climate change adaptation document or declaration. Indeed, we have received the guidelines for this document. In our project, we will all implement investments on renewable energy production. So hopefully we will not have any negative impact on the climate change yet. Shall we just make our own, let's say, template of the document, being inspired by the official documents that are included in the guidelines, or will you as a JS disseminate like one common template for all projects? Thank you.
Hello, thank you for your question. I can tell you that this assessment, which is required, is for the analyze the climate hazard, the effect of the climate change on your project. So it's the other way around, as Judith emphasized it during the session, that on this assessment we await your assessment, your risk analysis on the climate hazards on your project. And we don't provide template for this analysis. We provided an example in this guide, so you can based on that your assessment, but there is no obligation on the form of this assessment.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I will go to the questions which are sent in the chat. We have a question on the depreciation plan of the equipment. In our case, the national controller certified the whole amount of a dead stock purchased in the beginning of the project. The GS informed us about the depreciation plan and that we are obliged to make one for the equipment purchased. How can we declare again the equipment in GEMS since it is already certified from our national controller? This is a very specific question, and it's a very good example to highlight for you all that even the national controller has certified an expenditure, the GS has also the obligation to park it. It means that we don't allow it to pay. We send it back to you, and you can resubmit it in the next report. So in this case, I guess this is what happened, that even the controller has certified it, or the project officer in the joint secretariat has parked or reduced this expenditure because the method of the declaration wasn't the correct one. You can only accept the full purchase cost as eligible cost for the equipment which are linked to an investment.
Maybe just if it's in this report, they can reopen the.
So it was
No,
the
that was
first
the
report.
first report. So I guess the GS has already validated. So always check it in GEMS. If the GS has parked or deducted some amount of your report, can happen, and then you should make the correction before you submit in the next report. But every information is included in the Q&A document, so you will be informed. Okay, I take the next question. What is the procedure if a partner needs to change the nature of an equipment recognized as investment in the application form? For example, if a machinery is different from the one described in the application form, will it be considered investment also the new one and thus fully claimed without depreciation? We should analyze more in details because I cannot tell you based on this question. But if the description of this machinery hasn't changed, you have to ask for a modification before you declare the expenditure. So yes, every equipment you purchase in the framework of the project, it should be recognized in the application form. So in this case, you should ask for a modification in the application form. And if this modification is accepted, this purchase will be eligible. The full cost of this purchase will be eligible without depreciation. Yes. Okay. Next question. Hello, or investment in cars that will be used by a local municipality. The cars need maintenance, insurance, and other costs. Is it mandatory for us to cover these expenses, or the user can pay them? Thank you for this question, because it's very a crucial point for many partners as we receive your questions. So as it's stated in the statement of capacity and compliance with the obligation. Yeah, sorry, I don't know the full title of this document. You already engaged that you have the financial resources for this maintenance obligation. So we don't really want to see this question coming from your side, because based on this statement, your project was selected, the contract was signed with you. So because this is a criteria of the selection of the project, now we cannot handle this question so freely, because we are under the impression that you have all the financial instruments and mechanisms which are necessary for this maintenance obligation. How should we agree on the responsibility in case of incidents when we cannot change the ownership? Yes, that's why we are talking about, as Judith presented, that maybe for equipment also we will extend the possibility to transfer the ownership, so you can to ease your procedure for the maintenance of the equipment.
No, I want to add maybe that also it's possible if you have an agreement with the municipality, the cost can be also agreed with the municipality to be taken. In any case, I mean, you have the responsibility for assuming the cost, but for ensuring the maintenance, which can be done directly by you or through the municipality, for example, that is going to benefit from the use of the cars. So this is something that you have to see with your with the beneficiary. But in any case, I would suggest to contact your project officer and to see in more details what's going on with that issue. Okay.
Okay, I don't see more questions related to investment. If you have any, you can speak up, or otherwise we go for the next topic.
Okay.
Thank you.
In any case, we can come back also at the end if there are some other questions. So time now for tips for successful reporting. So this part is dedicated to some general mistakes or difficulties we have identified during the previous reporting period, so on the partial reporting, but basically on the financial reporting. I let my colleagues, Agathe and Julia, present this part.
So good morning to everyone. I'm Julia Joyer, Financial Officer at the Joint Secretariat. And before starting going through with the tips for successful reporting, let's start with this first chart where I'm pleased to present you the top 5 issues identified in a recent survey conducted with the Interreg National Controller Network last November and focusing on the most common errors in country by project partners during the last reporting period. So the findings displayed in this chart shed light on the main critical areas, such as the top one is calculation error, which is followed by lack of supporting documents and not eligible expenditure according to the program rules, conflict of interest and other, in which includes different issues such as expenditure paid out of the reporting period or where Dublin financing has been detected. In the next chart, we will help you to address to these issues practically and with some practical tips on what to do and what to do not for the current reporting period. So I pass the floor to my colleague Agathe.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I will present you some general information to keep in mind during the process of reporting. So note that this information applies to all reporting, so both partial and full. And as mentioned by Sophie just before, the program has already held a seminar on partial reporting on September, which you can refer. So first of all, I will provide you some general information with first one major new. There is no more national validation, which is required from Portugal for partners reports certified after the 2nd of January 2025. And you can find further information on the national information webpage of Portugal. I will now explain you what to do and not to do during the reporting. So based on some issue we have raised during the previous reporting. So as general information, you must use one of the program official languages. So it's English or French, and this is mandatory. Then, so in case you have delay on the production of national control certificate and reports, expenditure can be submitted in the following period. Then, in case you have part expenditure on the reports, you can resubmit them in the following reporting period. And one element that you can't do during a reporting, so it's not possible to include costs that have been paid out after the end of the reporting period of a progress report. And this expenditure can be included in future reports. So additional information on what you have to do or can't do during the reporting. First, we ask you to refer to Q&A from previous reports to consider any correction and guidelines indicated by the GS. And we also ask you to send the previous Q&A to your national controller so that they can be aware of what we have asked you just before. Regarding the contribution to be reported, we also ask you to ensure that the legal status of the contribution is the same as the one stated in the application form. And for partners with own contribution, you should report 20% of the certified amounts on the current period. And for partners with external contribution, you should report the amount received to date. Then, regarding activities with indirect state aids, partners must update the list of participants to their events. or undertaking and address it to their national controller. On what you can't do, please note that partners must not declare in the project report any modification to the application form that should have been formally requested to the GS for approval. Finally, last general information addressed to the Italian partners, as you can see. We inform you that a new version of the Manuale per la rendicontazione e di controlli is now available. Sorry for my bad Italian. And you can find inside some detail about staff cost. And also you can find further information in the webpage of the National Authority. Now, I will provide you some information regarding the reopening of the reports. So now the reopening of the partner reports is granted to the national controller. So you can ask them directly to reopen if needed. And some information on this topic that it's not possible to do. Once the most recent partner report is reopened, it is not possible to add or remove expenditure. In this case, it's only possible to edit some information, so the category, the amount, and the description of expenditure. Then, once the JS verification started, it's not possible to reopen the project reports. We will now provide you some reminders on what to do and to not do per category of expenditure on the basis of some issue we have raised on previous reporting. So regarding the staff cost, the staff task assignments must be uploaded in partner details of each partner. So this section is located in the contracting section on GEMS. Also, the description of each staff cost expenditure must include at least the name of each staff involved in the project, the months cover, and the percentage allocated to the project. Please keep in mind that the applied percentage should at least cover one full implementation period. And on this topic, what you can't do, so it's not possible to modify the staff task assignment template. It's also not possible to change the percentage of dedication of a staff member during the period. It's not possible to include multiple staff members in a single staff cost expenditure line. Also, it's not possible to declare staff cost before the official start date, which is mentioned in the task assignment. And it's not possible to include social security taxes paid outside the eligibility period. And in this case, they are considered as ineligible. So under the category travel and accommodation, the partners must keep for each member of staff proof of at least one travel done as part of the project. So the proof refers to any evidence of your participation to a travel. So, for example, minutes of the events you attend mentioning your name or a certificate of attendance. Partners must also ask express joint secretariat approval in case of travel out of the program cooperation area and out of the EU. So, for example, if you're going to Brussels, you don't have to ask the express approval because it's also located in the EU. And you have to ask this approbation via the form request for an express approval of the GS, which is on our website in the Documents and Tools section. On what you can't do under this category, so of course, partners using flat rates for the travel and accommodation cost must not declare any trouble cost in the reporting. Under the category external expertise and services, partners must ensure that the cost reports in this category are not already covered by the flat rate cost. So it's office and administration and travel and accommodation categories. You can find the details and the list of what it is integrating to these two categories directly on our program manual on the eligibility of expenditure section. And so in the same idea, purchase of office supplies must not be reported in external expertise and services because they are considered as office and administration costs. So we know that a contract is not always necessary for costs relating to external expertise, but we have noticed many errors in the previous reporting of this with this contract. So here are some information on what to do and not to do. So when a contract exists, they must be linked to the external contract expenditure. And linked to the contract, what you can't do. So if partners have signed a contract, the beneficial owner of the contract should not be the same as the ultimate beneficial owner of the project partner once exists. It's also not possible to fill in the contract information in another language than the official program languages. So it's only in French and English, as mentioned before. And please do not miss to include the national controller contracts under this category of cost. My colleague Julia will now present you a focus on the contract.
Okay, thank you, Agathe. So let's put a spotlight on contract. Why this focus is important? Because frequent issues arise due to incomplete or incorrect information related to contract. For example, contracts are often not included in the partner report or are not linked in the related expenditure and the big question when the beneficial owner data is requested. So it's very important to consider their aspect because all missing information bring controllers to our expenditures. So contract or not contract, this is the questions. It is important to fix that a contract exists when a formal contracting document is signed by both parties. It often involves multiple payments linked to the completion of work. The classification may depend on the values of the service of good as well as national regulation. And it's also important to note that contracts are not always required for all external expertise and expenditure, especially when you have only a simple quote. So make sure to check specific requirement before proceeding. However, where you are in doubt, I invite you to always consult your national controller or your national authority to have more information. So in the next slide, we show you how to create a contract, a good contract in GEMS. So the contract must be created before reporting an expenditure to ensure that the expenditure can be correctly linked to the contract. When entering the expenditure, you must fill the related information, such as select the dedicated contract ID and make sure to include the total contract amount, including taxes, not just the portion of you are reporting. In the next slide, we focus on how to handle with beneficial owner. So this is one of the major questions we are dealing with. Section related to the beneficial owner must not be left empty because missing information may be block the submission of the partner report in the pre-submission check. So beneficial owner data is request only for contract above the European Union threshold. Here you have an hypertextual link where you can check the information. And if the amount is below the threshold, you have to enter something. And you can put just NA, not applicable. So it is mandatory to report the subcontractors if existing, so contract name, reference name, amount, supplier name, and VTA number. Please make sure that the contract name is clear enough so that the contract item can be easily identified in the list of the expenditure, and because should the contract item be wrongly filled, it can be deleted and or edited as long as the report is in the draft status. In this last slide, we show you how to edit a contract previously created. This is a new feature in GEMS because it has recently implemented. So whether you need to make change to contract that was declared in the previous report, this can be done in the current report, and partners can add an update of procurement with amount, supplier name, VTA, contract update date, beneficial owner of the contractor, subcontractor, and upload the new documents. When editing a contract, please keep in mind that you cannot delete the previous beneficial owner, but you can only add the new one if needed. So I give the floor to Agathe for the last chart on equipments.
Thank you. So I will present you some tips to well report cost under the equipment category. So first of all, and as mentioned before, the same applies for equipment linked to investment or not. So purchase equipment must include the logo of the project attached to it with a sticker. All equipment must be included in the consolidated application form. So in case of addition of equipment, which is not initially foreseen in the application form, a request for modification must be made by the lead partner and approved by the JS prior to the reporting of the expenditure linked to this equipment. This request form is on our website, so as mentioned just before, on our documents and tools section, and then project implementation and amending my project. Then an agreement with the owner of the land in which the equipment will be implemented, if it's different from the partner, must be signed before the purchase of the equipment. And on the same idea of this, under this category, you can't buy investment-related equipment before obtaining approval from the owner of the area where it will be installed. And if the owner rejects the investment, the expenditure may become ineligible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's go to questions. We had already some questions we received during the registration, so we will start with these ones and then complete. Some are the same, are linked. There was a question first on the GDPR and the salary information on GEMS. You should know that there is a possibility to hide sensitive data on GEMS. So if you want to hide the names of the person, for example, this can be done in GEMS in the management, in the
Project privilege.
yes, project privileges section. Thank you. But just for you to know that the GEMS system has been audited, and it respects all the related laws, so also the law on GDPR. So don't be afraid about that. Then we had a question referring to activities. When activities have incurred during a reporting period but paid afterwards, for example, do we have to include them in technical section of the partner or project report? Let's say that we have two things. The narrative, which, so the activities, so where you have to relate to what you have done during this reporting period, and the financial reporting. The financial reporting done when you pay the activities, okay? So you have to report on the activities you have done during this reporting period, and you have to report the expenditure you have paid during the reporting period you have paid them. These can be different, indeed. And of course, as the content is done only once per year, the full reporting, and the financial one twice per year, of course, there can be a difference between both. But in that case, the national controller will come back to the relevant progress report, for example, or partner report if needed. If a partner hasn't reported any expenditure, he doesn't need to submit a partner report. But of course, you can also include the involvement and contributions to the project in the technical section of the project report. For the task assignments now, because we have a lot of questions also in the chat, so I think that we will try to answer to all the questions related to the task assignment template, to the staff task assignment template altogether. First of all, if nothing has changed from the first staff assignment template, you don't have to change it. If you have correctly uploaded the task assignment in the in GEMS, in the contracting partner details, and nothing has changed on the percentage dedicated to the project per staff, you just keep it once, okay? And you change it only when you have a change in the dedicated percentage from one period to another. Within one period, let's be clear that the regulation, so it's not us, it's the regulation that does not allow to change a percentage within a reporting period. But in the task assignment, you have to state the entry into force of the percentage dedicated to the project. And you have to set for the minimum of one reporting period, and you can change from one to the other. So there is no maximum set. It can be the same task assignment for the whole project duration if nothing changes. And if it changes, you upload a new one, version 2, with the new date of entry, which should be the beginning of the last of a reporting period. The date of entry to force cannot be between a reporting period. For example, it can be January or it can be July for your project. Okay, and then if you have changes within your reporting period, this by regulation is not allowed, but consider that you have to set one percentage for the whole period. Then there is a question, I think, about the social insurance that can be paid. Yeah, there is, sometimes we have a problem because when you declare by month or for the whole period, okay, for the last month, many times you pay the social insurance at the end, during the next reporting period. In that case, you should not report them in this period. So you should declare an amount without these social insurance costs. And the social insurance costs of June, for example, will be declared in next reporting period because they have been paid in July. Another question. For the proof of the travel, the proof of the travel should be at partner level, not at staff level. So if we have one proof of travel for the partner for the whole duration of the project, it's okay. And then we have a question on the cost for organizing a project meeting, where in which category it's in external expertise and services, as always. I think I answered to the question. Not you don't need to submit a partner report if you don't have any expenditures. Any other question on contracts? What is the EU threshold for the contracts to include the beneficial or not? We did not put the threshold because it depends on the type, the nature of the contract, and this is why we put a link in the presentation. Or also, if you put on directly on the internet EU threshold for public procurement, you will find it. The most common one is the one for services, which is 211,000 euros, but it really depends on the type of contract. So please go and see the thresholds directly on the website. Another question of contract. We have to do a contract for each external expertise and service. For example, we had a translator for a study visit. Do we have to upload a contract about that? No, it's exactly what we said with this slides on contract or not contract. You have to include a contract if you have signed a contract. It's not us to say you if you need to sign a contract or not. This depends on the national rules or on your organization own rules. For example, if you have just signed a quotation and agreed for a quote, it's not a contract, so you don't have to put it here. So you don't need contract for each of the external expertise and service costs. You have to enter a contract only when you have signed a contract. It's many times you have a contract when you have a long-term, let's say, service, for example, with different payments, etc.
Or the national control.
Or with your national controller, for example, you have a contract and you need to put this contract there, and the national controller has to make a checklist for its own his own contract. It's a little bit weird, but that's the way it goes. I need to. We report staff costs based on in report 2. We need to include one partner certificate related to report 1 regarding the project report identification. Do we have to manually change the reporting period start? No. You just have to add it. You can put both report 1 and 2, or only the one in the 2 in the progress report 2. You just have to add it like it is. You don't have to change anything. Then we report staff costs based on actual percentages. If we cannot report the taxes for the last month of the period because they are paid on the 16th of the following month, how can they be considered actual costs? You have to report them in this in the next report. That's it. Yes, with the correct person. You apply the same percentage.
In case it changed.
Yeah, in case it had changed. You apply the same percentage, but for the taxes and social insurance costs linked to the month of December, for example. I should repeat a question. No, sir, okay. I think we answered to more or less of all of the questions. So then, do you see anything else, my colleagues? I check with the colleagues if something is missing.
Now we received.
You can change the task assignment. I think I answered to this question, but I will clarify it again. You can change task assignment at the beginning from one period to the other. Okay, not within one period. Meaning that task assignment should at least refer to one period. of 6 months, January to June or July to December. So you can change it from one report to the other. Yeah. But you are not obliged to. Okay, any other question? If there is a question that we missed, maybe just take the floor and ask for it or remind it. But I think we covered everything.
If I may,
Julia, please, yes.
yes, good morning. It's a question concerning the deliverables and the outputs, the files to be uploaded in GEMS. It could be a question about that. I was trying the other day to upload more than one file on one section in GEMS in the progress project progress report, and it was not possible. For the moment, it is only possible to upload one file.
Yes, indeed. So you should make one PDF with the
Okay, I see.
all the documents. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So let's go. We have another question. Are research grants contracts announced through a public call, which is specifically referred to the project, eligible among staff costs? These contracts do not establish any subordinate employment relationships. You should check that with your national controller to be sure, because really it changes from one country to another. So it's better to verify with your national controller or your national authority.
Okay, yes.
Okay, yes, there is this question. We have to check. I'm not sure. About the last question, I think that it's not for each member of staff. I think. I don't. Yes. It's not, no.
One travel.
One travel per partner, yeah. I think that the slide is not correct. Sorry for that. We will change it in the version we will publish. Sorry. Okay, you have a lot of questions about the staff with the percentage. I think I was quite clear on that. You need to declare 1% for the whole period and put the entry to force at the beginning of the period.
And if you have more specific questions about specific cases, you can check with your project officer.
Of course. Any other, you have new ones? Yeah, please, Gabriela, please.
Yes, thank you. I have wrote also my question in the chat section, but I want to ask it specifically. I understood that we cannot change the percentage in the task assignment template, but if this happens, is the whole salary for the whole period not eligible, or only for the months that there is some kind of increasement?
We will pack the expenditure and ask you to resubmit them correctly.
Well, we have done that, but our national controller has said that he will cut all of the salaries for the whole period.
Okay, let's contact your project officer and we will see.
Okay.
Okay. It depends on how it's declared. That's why it's specific. How it's declared and why. So yeah, we need to see it in particular. Okay, let's remind now where you can find all the information we talked about. Pascal, please, just a summary.
Yes, quickly on our program website, in the section document and tools, You click on project implementation, and there you will see all the documents you can find on cost reporting if you did not see them yet. One of interest is the guidance for cost reporting in GEMS, of course, and also the one below, courtesy project report, where you can see how it looks like and you have small explanations of what is expected. Another interesting part, tools are amending my project, where you can submit any send us any modification needed so we can evaluate them. And yeah, you can see on this slide the link to these tools, but it's easily findable on our website. And also, Sophie talked about it at the beginning of this meeting. We have, Sophie, sorry, yes, thank you. On the news and event webpage, you have the replay and the documents from the previous seminar on reporting process with the complete details on the financial sections and what is expected on this side.
Yes, there you have a lot of details on how to report and what to put in each of the cells. So please refer to it again, maybe, or if it's your first time you report, please refer to it for all the details. Okay. And then we had some general questions we received in the during the registration. So let's go through them. And of course, you can ask for any other questions also in the chat. Sometimes you have you can have a warning in GEMS, meaning saying that this report is based on an older version of the application form. If you need your report to reflect the correct version, you will have to create a new report. Indeed, if you create a report and in the meanwhile there is a modification of the application form, it will say that because you will have created the report based on version 2, for example, and you change meanwhile to version 3. It's not a problem in any case, or it's not a problem for you to report in the previous with the previous application form, unless, of course, you needed this modification to report, for example, an investment or an equipment that has changed. In that case, it will be better. You will need to be on the new one, so you will you can delete it and create a new one. To what extent should the project report reflect the partner's reporting? If the partner's report does not fully disclose project progress, is it appropriate to include additional details or clarifications in the project report? The project report is a summary of the activities of the partnership at a transnational level as a whole. It shouldn't be an addition of partners' reports, so the LP is responsible for the content of the project report, and the narrative part of the partner's report should help the lead partner to complete the project report. But it's not compulsory for the JS, and it's not compulsory. I mean, you don't have to take only the information of the partner report to draft your project report, of course. When is the export of the partner project progress report going to be available in GEMS? It is available since last Friday. So it's one of the new features we have now. When do we foresee the any manual updates? We will update with slight modifications, precisions, like what we said, that some things have changed with the new features. So we will update the manual this at the end of this of spring, I think. But for the guides for reporting will be uploaded. The new the updated version of the guidance for reporting, both for partners and for national controllers, by the end of this week. There was a question about the carbon footprint assessment in the progress report. Which level of detail is expected? Here we expect only a summary of the emissions produced and explain how you intend to try to reduce your emissions in the future. So it's really general. You don't have to go much in details on that, but it's more than based on the report on the carbon footprint assessment. what you propose to do. And there was also a question about reporting on communication. As you should know, the reporting on communication is done once a year via an online questionnaire sent by the JS at the beginning of the year. You should have received it, and we asked to complete it by the 15th of February. So I assume that you have all completed it already. And on the 19th of March, during the communication seminar, we will provide you with more details. That's it for the general questions. Do we have any more? Yes, we have a last question. Could we have any JS certification of the funds approved and sent to the partners? Some partners need the certification for administrative purposes. I suppose you mean the notification of payments.
Oh, so the contract funds approved, so
The funds approved.
contract.
It's, you know,
Ah, on a
Parce qu'on a validé.
it's yes, everything is in everything approved is based on the subsidy contract, the partnership agreement where we don't have the amounts, but the application form where there are the amounts. The application form is an annex of the contract, and all the amounts are there. I won't, sorry, but I won't again answer the questions. I have already answered for the percentage. The person cannot change during the reporting period.
Contact your project officer.
Yeah, contact your project officer to see how to deal with that, but the regulation does not. The regulation does not allow such a change again, but in the statement, the staff assignment template, you have 1% to declare for the work period, and you have only to declare the date of entry into force of that. Regarding the question was on the payments, yeah. On the payments, notifications are to be provided by the accounting authority. It's an ongoing work. Let's say that, as you have seen, payments were quite delayed. So the emphasis now is on the payment first, and the notifications will come. And there is also in GEMS section on the payments, but this is an ongoing work also, and it's not delivered of the partner. So we will provide, if you need them right now, please ask your project officer, and we will try to ask them to be delivered as soon as possible. Okay. Yes, the percentage can be different, not in each, but from a period to another. This is by regulation. For the deliverables and outputs, yes, indeed, it's not mandatory to upload all deliverables or outputs to Basecamp. It's a good practice for the main ones to check with your project officer prior to reporting on GEMS, but it's not mandatory. Okay, so I think it's time. It's 12. It's the end of this meeting. Right on time. Thank you for everything. If you have still questions, you can ask your project officer or use the FAQ of our program website to ask any general question. Don't hesitate also to consult your national controllers or your national authorities when it comes to any national. Thank you for your participation. You were quite numerous today, so yeah. Good reporting. And do not hesitate to contact any of us if needed. Thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.